sit and join the shade.
Hey, brother, pour the wine.
Drink the drink that I have made.
Hey, brother, pour the wine.
Good evening. Happy Sunday and welcome to Drink in the Style, brought to you by Habitation Furnishing and Design. In addition this week to the American Society of Interior Designers. I'm your host, Gregory Rich, and I'm going to help you kill your early Sunday evening with some booze and interior design conversation. Tonight, we are talking about international styles. My guest is Rosanne Levi, ASID Allied Designer and Principal at Tailored Décor and Bits. We'll be discussing Japanese interiors or Japanese-themed or influenced interiors, a new line of fabrics that Rosanne has introduced following a visit to Israel, some more traditional and transitional styles, a great deal more as well. Rosanne, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
I'm excited. And I put poor Rosanne on the spot. We usually do a little bit of prep work before our shows, and I kept her hanging until literally hours ago. So she's being a good sport, and I'm sure it's going to go great.
Sometimes the best interviews or projects come with that impromptu energy. Some
Absolutely.
of the best things come out. So
Perhaps it's
I'm happy to
a coincidence that the wine we're drinking today is called Adaptation.
Oh, there you go.
Ooh, well played, Newkirk. Well played. Yeah, no, I'm a chronic procrastinator in many cases, sometimes by choice, sometimes by necessity. But, work well under pressure. That's the key. Raise the stakes, and then we'll shine.
And I think when I became a mother, that really taught me flexibility.
You're absolutely right.
And thinking on your feet and realizing that it's going to be okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's true. You learn to adapt.
You adapt.
Plans do not. Children have no respect for your plans. It is infants. They ignore the minutes from the meeting. They ignore the outlines I used to give them. It's terrible.
We had a wedding at the hotel this weekend, and a gentleman gets into the elevator with me, and he's like, I just wanted to be someplace my kids weren't. So I understand that sentiment, even though I don't have children.
My children might listen to this, so be kind.
On the elevator without them, maybe fine.
Mommy's in the elevator again. No, she's working. Those melodious tones were brought to us, of course, by our Master of Spirits. Representing today, Mercy, Mill Valley Kitchen, Benedict's in Wayzata, and Rochester. Rochester, right?
Yep.
Excellent. Dan Newkirk is with us. Dan, how are you?
Things are going just well.
Not going with swimmingly?
No, not today.
Today they're not, but well works.
Well works.
Excellent. All right. Now, while Dan is here and usually mixing up some astonishing cocktails, Rosanne, you are not a hard liquor gal, correct?
That is correct. Yes.
No shame in that?
No, I'm not. No shame here.
Good.
I do enjoy red wine, though.
Shame is only for people with dignity, and I am therefore immune. But you do like red wine. So, Dan, you have scoured the wine cellar at Mill Valley Kitchen, and you came up with what?
Well, I also had the help of Tommy Byers, our wine guy that we had on a few weeks ago.
Top-notch guy. Shout out to Tommy.
So he brought in a bottle of Adaptation. It's from Napa Valley. It's 85% Cab, 15% Merlot. It's a beautiful wine, complexity, pomegranate, raspberry, currant. It's got a lot going on, and then there's a little bit of pepper on the backside. Of course, we had to do a little R&D with the bottle last night, and I came
dedicated.
Fully prepared. Three wine vineyards, the most notable being Stag's Leap, is where they source their grapes from. So it's a blend of just beautiful, well-grown grapes out of California.
I cheated. I just took a little sip without thinking about it because there's wine in front of me. Therefore,
the blood of Christ.
It is the blood of Christ. This is a really delicious wine.
Yeah, Tommy did a great job with suggesting this one.
Do you happen to know how much that sells for retail?
We retail it for $95 at Mill Valley Kitchen, and it actually scored 95 on Wine Spectator.
That's fabulous. Wow.
Yeah.
Nice, man.
Yeah, you told me, nice bottle of Pinot Noir. No, we're going to do it big because this is drinking the style.
So we went with the Cab. No, this is absolutely delicious. So Adaptation, and this is Napa Valley. The year is 2016. It's on the regular Mill Valley menu, right?
Yep.
Go in and try it. This is really good stuff. Why don't you give it a quick sip, Rosanne, and give us your initial impressions? Of course, we're going to make sure we don't have any lip and mouth noises because Brett filters that out. However, I just did sniffle. That's probably terrible, too. Rosanne, what do you think?
Yes, very nice. It has a nice body and flavor in it. It's very smooth.
Yeah. I love the tannins on a big red, just because it puckers you up a little bit.
Yeah.
That was purposeful, though. That was
I know you did.
a descriptor.
Can we bleep those out on the beep, beep, beep? Yeah, right. All right, I'm going to do that. No, this is great. It's got great body. It's got great nose. People love talking about wine nose. So, dang, Tommy, nice work.
Yeah, it was great.
Awesome. All right, so before we dive into a discussion of interior design, Rosanne,
yes,
you are an artist, correct?
I am an artist.
Tell me a little bit about your art.
I am an artist first and foremost. Design came second. Mm-hmm. I love classical art. I've studied off and on part-time at the Atelier Lac, downtown Minneapolis. Do you know that school?
On Hennepin?
Yeah, yes, on Hennepin. Mm-hmm. And so I really love capturing the likeness of people, through charcoal and learning the drawing skills. So I'm going back this fall to take a part-time class once a week just to get me back into it. I had to take a bit of a break when my kiddos were small, with the oil paints and all of that. I just didn't want that around.
Which makes sense. Makes sense. They would make a hell of a mess, potentially.
I'm okay if they get messy. I really am. We have a porch.
Okay.
And they, my son has his bench to work at it. My daughter has hers, and I have mine.
Okay. So everyone has their workspace.
We can all be messy together.
Yeah, which is fun.
But it was... the oils can be a little toxic.
Oh, yeah, that's true. And they do tend to eat everything.
They eat things, and I just didn't want the kids putting anything in
Good thinking.
their mouth when they were so little. So I took a bit of a break, and now I'm getting back into it.
So Atelier
Yes.
focuses on realism in
That's
art
correct.
creation, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned charcoal is the basis of their program, charcoal or oils, or just it's all classical?
It's all classical.
Style. Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And then you start in charcoal, and then you proceed black and white oil, and then you bring color into the painting.
And develop it and grow it from that point. Mm-hmm. So I have a question. We have a lot of artists on the show because I don't know if you know, but Habitation has what we call our micro gallery. Where
I didn't know that.
It's so cool. We have one locally based but nationally known artist featured about every 3-4 months. We switch over the artists. We've had Richard Mershon is currently, if you know Richard, John Gerber, a few other, really nice names in the area. And I always ask this question. So John tends to have a lot of cubist work.
Sure.
Richard tends to be a little more conceptual. In order to be an artist, do you think you have to have mastered the basics, the Rembrandt fundamentals, before you can grow from that? Or can you immediately jump in some kind of abstract?
They say you have to, but I don't know. I mean, it's so. How do you know, really? Right?
It's
how do you know?
Call. It's a tough call
because only the artist knows, right?
I think so.
But I think
we need to take a quick break. But as soon as we come back, we're going to pick this one up again because I like the question. Stick around.
I was once out strolling one very hot.
This is Gregory Rich, founder of Habitation Furnishing and Design and host of Drink in the Style every Sunday at 5 p.m. I'm often asked what kind of furniture Habitation offers. Now, I can go two ways with this. I can say something like, Habitation specializes in warm, modern, raw, industrial, and organic contemporary home furnishings. But what does that mean? It means that we have some really cool stuff, and that is the answer that usually goes over better. But cool doesn't mean crazy. And I'm proud to say that everything we offer at Habitation is functional and comfortable. The type of furniture that will allow you to express yourself but still works every day. So there it is. Habitation Furnishing and Design, 4317 Excelsior Boulevard in St. Louis Park. It's the Twin Cities' best furniture and design showroom. Did you know that Habitation Furnishing and Design has the area's largest selection of noir and CFC furniture? Are you familiar with them? I once had a customer describe noir as a cross between Restoration Hardware and Beetlejuice. I love that. And CFC, bench-made furniture out of the heart of California, is definitionally cool. In any event, check out the lines at noirfurniturela.com and then swing into the store and check them out in person. Habitation Furnishing and Design, 1 mile east of Highway 100 on Excelsior Boulevard, Lewis Park.
When I was a young man, I'd never been kissed. I got to thinking about what I had missed. I found a girl, I kissed her and then, oh Lord, I kissed her again. Oh.
Jackson Browne covering the classic Kisses Sweeter Than Wine. We're going with a wine-themed collection of music today. Some more, some less. I just discovered that one online, and I thought that was such a cool track. Jackson Browne fan?
No, but I love music, so I can always learn.
Fair enough. Welcome back to Drink in the Style. We're a 1-hour conversation about art and architecture, design, anything aesthetic. We're partnered up with the American Society of Interior Designers this week, and we're talking with Miss Rosanne Levi from...
Not Levi's, but
No,
Levy.
not Levi's,
Yeah.
Levy. Thank you. Rosanne Levi from Tailored Decor and Bits. Welcome back, Rosanne.
Thank you.
Excellent. All right. Tell us about Tailored Decor and Bits.
Well, a couple years ago, I rebranded my business, and prior to that, I was Rosanne Levi, Inc.
Okay.
And prior to that, I was Foreign Inc. and Lily Designs. I've been doing this, for a long time. And I wanted to rebrand my interior design business to reflect the direction I want to go now. Mm-hmm. And I really want to focus on tailored decor. Mm-hmm. And I have boutique items that I make and sell. I make cushions, totes, clochets, tea towels, dish towels, and I do a holiday party once a year.
I'll look for the invitation.
And in my home, I love opening up my home, and those are the bits. Mm-hmm. So the tailored decor with some bits, because I'm just not one dimensional. Mm-hmm. I feel stagnant if I'm just staying, in one area of design. I need to be diversified.
You're a creative.
I'm a
Creatives
creative.
need multiple
Yes,
outlets.
yes, and so. And I really I have a great contractor I work with, and
Feel free to give a shout out.
It's Tom Carey.
Okay.
And I know that when I put a project in his hands, I don't need to do the project management because I've done that for many years. And now that I have children, I just don't want to be working those kinds of
You have your own project to manage.
I have my own managing, yes. That's right.
But it's not your area. It's not your focus.
It's not my area of expertise. And I say, hey, let the people that are really great at it do it, and I'll help design the space. And if the client needs me to come in to help with, the design of it, I'm so happy to do that. But so I've gotten away from the project management, and I just want to work on the interiors, the window treatments, the furnishings, the soft goods. I love it.
The free-floating pieces, not the built-in. It's always one of the problems at Habitation. We often kind of dance around that because you do, especially when you have a client who really likes the designer, who feels a great deal of confidence in the designer, and they want you to handle the entire project. And, sometimes there's crossover between the two.
Right.
Whether it's a built-in bench or again, depending on if you're doing a major remodel, window placement, things like that, they want to have the designer involved, and yet it's not our area. So it becomes more of a consultative type of thing if you're lucky.
Right.
But if you're really lucky, it's just something you hand to someone who does enjoy project management of that kind, right?
Yes, because I have friends who are designers that do not like window treatments and furniture. They just want to work with the plan. And so I just say, have the work go to the people that love to do it.
That's the secret, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah. You want a project, you don't force people to do what they do not want to do. And you don't let people who don't know what they're doing do things that they shouldn't be doing.
Right.
Ooh.
Absolutely.
Flag that, Brett, as a highlights comment. That sounded really deep, even though it didn't mean anything.
Out of context, though, it's very profound.
But that's awesome. So you mentioned the bits part,
Yes.
talking about some of the aspects. We could talk. You have a line of textiles, correct?
I'm working on it. My tea towels are my motifs that I've designed. They're original. And I've done big, like 4x6 linen pieces where I've embroidered my original designs. And I've done, shows with that in the past. And I've vacillated about how to produce things because it's tricky, It's tricky. And at one time I had a handbag line and I hired Hmong women that I, did my beadwork.
Here in Minnesota?
In Minnesota, a little neighborhood. And then now I find out that there's a place over in St. Paul that actually has a facility where people can make your product and they get health insurance and they get fair wages, and it's just changed so much.
Really? Oh, that's interesting. I don't know anything about that.
Landscape of that all has changed a lot, and so so I'm trying to work on this textile line, or I have my designs that I've gathered when I was in Israel. When I first graduated from design, I worked as a textile designer in Connecticut, and that's how I became aware of the process.
Okay.
But back then, it was, my boss came back from France and had these little rubbings, and we had to put them in the repeats on the board on vellum, and then you send it away, and you have strike-offs, and it's so different now because everything's computerized.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, you can do something on spoonflower.com, and have your own fabrics designed that way.
I mean, it does lead to a lot of creativity that people can express themselves, but it also leads to people being able to produce things that probably should not necessarily have been produced or would have gone through a quality control or a design phase.
Yeah, and I want to keep my product feeling authentic. I don't like that feeling of mass-produced. I like that handmade quality.
I agree completely.
And so I'm not in a rush. I just have to figure out, like a tea towel, a dish towel is a good way to start, and then I'm just going to practice on my own home with the window treatments and have my fabrics printed and, dress my windows. And
if it works, and you probably have higher standards than anyone else possibly could for what you're doing. So if it works for you. I'm
fussy.
I kind of suspect you might be. So you got inspiration, by the way, on some of these textiles from a trip to Israel.
Yes.
So was this inspired by colors and patterns that you saw there, by the landscape?
It's symbolism, I think, a lot of it, because there isn't, it's the little tiny mosaics that you find at the Sea of Galilee, antiquity or I think I have a total of like 15 designs, and then within those designs, I make some bigger, some larger, some, like brick pattern repeats. I mean, just different ways of repeating it. And so I want it to feel authentic to that design scheme, and also the antiquity where it came from. Which is
something we'll be talking about in the next segment too, because you and I share a love of classics.
Oh,
and I think that's going to be a fun area to explore. So let's take another quick break. Brett, what are we playing on music on the way out on this one? I can't remember.
It is Blake Shelton.
Oh, Sangria. Gotta like that one. Stick with us, folks. We are enjoying a great glass of wine, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Straw hut bar, trying to remember what.
This is Gregory Rich, founder of Adaptation Furnishing and Design. I have a philosophy. Furniture should be beautiful, but if it's not comfortable, it's not much use to anyone. That's why at Adaptation we work hard to make sure that the furniture we sell is stylish and functional. Unique and useful. What more can you ask for? Adaptation Furnishing and Design, 4317 Excelsior Boulevard in St. Louis Park. It's the Twin Cities' best furniture and design showroom. Did you know that Adaptation Furnishing and Design has the area's largest selection of noir and CFC furniture? Are you familiar with them? I once had a customer describe noir as a cross between Restoration Hardware and Beetlejuice. I love that. And CFC, bench-made furniture out of the heart of California, is definitionally cool. In any event, check out the lines at noirfurniturela.com and then swing into the store and check them out in person. Habitation Furnishing and Design, 1 mile east of Highway 100 on Excelsior Boulevard.
There's a port on a western bay, and it serves 100 ships a day. Lonely sailors pass the time away and talk about their homes. And there's a girl in this harbor town. She works laying whiskey down. But what's her name, Dan? Do you know her name?
I got nothing.
Brandy. Brandy, a type of wine.
Oh,
I
you
bent
got
the
it.
rules
You
because
got
I
it.
love that song.
Very nice, very nice.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, it's nice to make the rules.
There's some style points. There's some style points on that one.
Welcome back to Drinkin' the Style. We air at 5 p.m. on Sundays right here in Minneapolis on AM 950. But if you are a podcast fan or like to stream online, you can find us either at am950radio.com or drinkinthestyle.com and enjoy us at any time, no matter where you go. We are speaking with Rosanne Levi from Décor and Bits Design. Thank you very much. We've been talking a lot about kind of some of the textiles that you've created from a recent trip overseas. We've been talking a little off air about the difference in designers' kind of areas of expertise. You have a love, as do I, of kind of classical architecture, classical design, correct?
Correct.
What attracts you to that aspect? And I should say, again, since we in the design world tend to use a lot of phrases that we just take for granted, we're talking about more Greco-Roman style and, that type of a thing. So what appeals to you there?
I like the soulfulness of it.
It's interesting. The soulfulness, now, all right, question. When you think of classical design, are you thinking in terms of what we see today, the white marble, the kind of monochromatic, or, as a lot of people don't realize, in ancient Rome, in ancient Greece, all that stuff was painted. They were bright, vibrant colors. There were purples and reds. How do you as a designer envision it?
It's the feeling when you walk into a space that's old and it's a little decrepit and it's
been there.
It's
it has
been
a history.
there. It's got, if the walls could talk, wow. I would love to hear what they had to say. I've always been an old soul, even as a kid. And, I'm just drawn to those deeper venues. And I love to see like how Parisian interiors, they'll do the old buildings with the modern pieces, the really cool,
which is awesome,
well-made,
like when IMA
gorgeous
did
modern pieces.
The pyramid in front of the
Yes,
Louvre,
I love that dichotomy.
Juxtaposition.
That dichotomy because you're bringing the old with the new.
Yes.
That I think is my favorite.
I agree. Because you don't want to simply replicate.
Right.
It's not about replication. It's about appreciation, adaptation as well. Again,
Ding, 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 buzzword.
Thank you very much. Our sponsor this week is Adaptation Wines. No.
Yes.
But it's true. And I mean, to a certain extent we say, if the walls could talk, which, by the way, Dan, I'm sure you agree, we are probably both very happy that walls can't talk. Just
Do you really want to know what they have to say?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Shut up, walls.
Mum's the word.
Nope.
Yeah.
But there is like an energy. I mean, it's the funniest
Yes.
thing that whenever you start talking about energy, you kind of get painted as kind of like, kind of a hippy-dippy type of a person.
I love that term, hippy-dippy.
Hippy-dippy. I do too. But look, Einstein proved on paper everything is energy. All matter is
yes.
energy. Walls have an energy, and that energy stays there and absorbs and then kicks back its own form of energy. And I think there's nothing wrong with understanding and appreciating that.
Sometimes you can draw a plan on a piece of paper and you get in the space and it doesn't work. Just because of how it feels.
Right. It's absolutely true. Well, I mean, to a certain extent, that was, feng shui, which, used to be the thing, and, you don't hear much about it these days, but it's still out there. But that was actually that kind of an effort of figuring out how to arrange things in terms of having the energy coordinated so it's not a matter of just this should work, but these are the rules that will make your design work.
Right.
Do you agree? You can disagree if you'd like.
No, everyone has their own idea of what they need in their home. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And if that works for that person,
but there are things that can't work.
Yeah, I can't just go with one way because I appreciate so many different things, and so I have to always stay open to what to design. I'm just very open. But in my own home, I do believe in energy, and I don't bring anything in unless if it does feel good or it represents my family and our needs. I'm not a disposable person. If I'm going to buy a cheapo thing, I'm going to go to a thrift store or I'm going to go to an estate sale.
As more and more people are, which is...
and I've been like that for years, like when I first started design. You know, that's why even with my clients, I'm fine if they bring in things to me and say, hey, I want to use this. I say, yes, because that's your personal style. Let's blend it in.
It's a piece of them.
It's a piece of them. I don't want that house feeling like me. Or looking like me, or I didn't do my job.
Or we have. So I'm gonna throw a little bit of shade here. We have a lot of clients that I'm not afraid of it. I'm not afraid of making an enemy. So we have a lot of clients who have come to us, and it's specific. It's strange. Oftentimes they have just finished doing their house from Restoration Hardware.
Sure.
It always seems to come back to Restoration Hardware for this particular group. And they always tell the same basic story, which is they thought it was going to be perfect. Everything looked perfect. They got it all into their space, and it's just not right. They just don't feel comfortable there. And the reason for that is because it lacks a soul.
Yes.
You've bought a catalog and tried to insert yourself into their vision of what your life should be, as opposed to working with a designer who's going to understand what your life is and what you want yours to be, and then create a space around it.
And you can't force it.
You can't.
Like right now, in regards to Japanese style, I'm working with a client and I'm doing a family room that's she wanted it to feel like a Japanese tea room. She's Japanese and her husband's Chinese.
Okay.
And she has spent a lot of time in Japan, so she knows what she wants.
Okay.
And she brought in
no pressure here, by the way. Oh, my God.
You know, the first thing I did is I went to the library and I just got as many books as I could on Japanese design, and I fell in love with it in the process.
The simplicity is gorgeous, isn't it?
It's so beautiful, and how they bring nature in.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It's just
so tell us what you've learned. What are the keys that you discovered in designing a Japanese-influenced living room?
Well, they use a lot of natural, I think it's the reed and the tatami mat. You know,
as a grounding feature, you mean?
Yeah, and just the wood, just natural wood. You know, the teak and the soji doors with the rice paper, and it's very
all textures you're talking about,
meditative. And then they always have these windows and these wonderful gardens. Oh my gosh!
You know, just a sub bar for that. I mean, Japanese culture, they do spirits so well. They do sakes so well. They're so precise, and everything is so important. And the water source and where it's coming from, the community and who makes it.
They're so
even
intentional.
The polish, everything.
They're
everything.
so intentional.
Yeah, so I can see where it's relative, because culturally I deal with a lot of things that come from Japan, and I'm always blown away by its quality.
We did a cocktail with a Japanese gin a while back, didn't we?
Roku, yeah.
Roku, yes.
Yep.
That was good stuff.
And it's perfect. It's 6 botanicals, and seasonally, the botanical forward changes due to what's in season. It's so sexy.
You should get a bottle and give it to your client when you're done with the project.
Oh, yes.
Because it's really, I think they'd appreciate it. It's a great blending of a Western spirit, but created using kind of a Japanese intention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to get that name when I leave here.
And if you swing by Habitation, I have a full bar, and I believe I still have some left in the, in the bar that I could pour for you. But so you're keying in. So you're keying in on the textures and the weights of design. And what about the aesthetics? What about the colors that you were using?
It's very monochromatic. You know, the colors of nature, right?
But they don't do much with greens.
No.
But they bring in nature itself to provide that color.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because when the window, when the screens are open, you have this light coming in with the trees. And
the other aspect about Japanese design that I've observed, I think it's fairly conventional wisdom, I suppose, but and this ties back to your love of classics as well, because this is something that's shared, literally across all of Eurasia, from ancient Greece to Japan, and that is the concept of balance.
Oh, yeah.
Constantly creating balance.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a challenge, because to a lot of people, balance is confused with symmetry.
Oh.
And they aren't the same.
No.
Do you agree?
I agree. I mean, you can achieve balance by pattern.
Mm-hmm.
Texture is another one. The elements, the wood and the water and fire and steel, that's another way of balancing the room.
Mm-hmm.
Do I sound like a rook when I say feng shui?
Well, it's feng shui.
Yes.
There was a lot to be said that was accurate about feng shui.
Yeah.
I mean, if you take, like placement of your bed, right? And you go and you actively try to arrange something in an anti-feng shui system. I did this as an experiment once with one of my daughter's bedrooms just to see what happened. It creates discomfort. It does. If your feet are facing the wrong way, if you are, facing towards a window, as opposed to a window grounding in behind you as it stood, you will not sleep as well. I guarantee it.
There's some elements that I practice, like basement bedrooms are really, going down is really
such a bad idea. No, there's
or
plenty of time
having
to
your
sleep
back
underground.
to the door in your office. You should always, be looking out. So there are elements of that I do use.
Of course, that's also an Italian thing. No Italian likes to sit with his back to the door. Which, once again, goes back to classical history.
But I want to say one more thing about Japanese design that I love, and I think this is why I'm so drawn to it right now, is it's quiet.
That's a good point. Yeah, that is a good point. I mean, and not just orally, as in A-U-R, as in silence, but it's visually quiet.
Yeah, it's very quiet.
Which is calming, which is something that we desperately need these days when we're constantly being inundated.
Yes.
Now, you may be onto something. Have you been seeing an aggressive movement towards Japanese-influenced styles?
No, but it seems like so many people that, like our neighbor just went to Japan. My son is studying Japan in school, and we have a trip scheduled for Italy and France in April, but I think the next big trip is going to be Japan because I have 2 clients now that spend a lot of time in Japan. Japan is calling me. I just feel it.
You should go then.
And the sushi is, I'm sure, amazing.
I'm working that sideline. I'm going to get Beam Suntory to pay for me to go to Japan.
Are you going to that? More power to you.
Oh, yeah.
My wife just got back from Japan a few months ago. She went for a business trip.
Okay.
And she told me there's no way on earth I can go to Japan because I'm allergic to pretty much all seafood.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So I would basically be eating
rice.
Rice. Endless amounts of rice. I'd come back 30, 35 pounds heavier.
Yeah.
I've achieved Buddhism. All right. We're going to take one more break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about the ASID concept of design impacts lives, and we're going to explore a little bit more with Rosanne Levy. Stick with us.
Just remember one thing, though the world that we live in.
Did you know that Habitation Furnishing and Design has the area's largest selection of noir and CFC furniture? Are you familiar with them? I once had a customer describe noir as a cross between Restoration Hardware and Beetlejuice. I love that. And CFC, bench-made furniture out of the heart of California, is definitionally cool. In any event, check out the lines at noirfurniturela.com and then swing into the store and check them out in person. Habitation Furnishing and Design, 1 mile east of Highway 100 on Excelsior Boulevard. This is Gregory Rich, founder of Habitation Furnishing and Design and host of Drink in the Style every Sunday at 5 p.m. You know, I'm often asked what kind of furniture Habitation offers. Now, I can go 2 ways with this. I can say something like, Habitation specializes in warm, modern, raw, industrial, and organic contemporary home furnishings. But what does that mean? It means that we have some really cool stuff, and that is the answer that usually goes over better. But cool doesn't mean crazy. And I'm proud to say that everything we offer at Habitation is functional and comfortable. The type of furniture that will allow you to express yourself but still works every day. So there it is. Habitation Furnishing and Design, 4317 Excelsior Boulevard in St. Louis Park. It's the Twin Cities' best furniture and design showroom. Firebirds, bottle of wine, fruit of the vine. We used to blast that. We used to rent this cottage back in my college fraternity days. And I remember we used to blast that on the beach. It was cool.
I'm sure it worked like moth to a flame, right?
It did something. I don't know. I was drunk all the time. Welcome back to Drink in the Style. We've been speaking with Rosanne Levi from Tailored Decor and Bits. Rosanne, before we forget, I always do this at the top of the segment, how can people learn more about you and see some of your work?
They can go to my website at tailoreddecorandbits.com.
Okay. And is tailored past tense? Tailored is
past tense,
Great.
yes. TAILOREDDECORANDBITS.com.
You had to look.
It's a long one.
You had to look at Tailored, didn't you?
I know. Yes, you caught me there. Yes, that's probably the best way. I have testimonials there on my website.
And you have some of the products, some of the bits that you sell as well.
I
so you can
do.
see some of these beautiful pillows that you do and some of the other textiles.
Some of my teeth towels, and yes, for sure.
What about your art? Have you ever considered putting any of your art up?
This might sound strange to you, but like I don't keep my art. If I don't sell something, I found that I just give it away.
Really?
Yeah, because I
make
it to move it.
Okay. I mean, it's not your vocation.
I think that now that I'm going back to the atelier, I want to really hone my portrait skills because I'd love to paint my kids. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm at that phase where I want to really do that well.
And that's tough. I mean, that's interesting. When we mentioned Richard Mershon, an artist on before. He does a lot of portraiture as well. And I asked him, if you remember this one, Dan, I said, when you're looking at someone, are you always envisioning how you would paint them? And he looks at me, and he's from Venezuela, and he goes, oh, yes, definitely. Sweet, Richard. Yes, I can see it in your eyes.
You look at a face and you think, oh, gosh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you're just, you study. But I think to paint someone well, and I'm sure your friends would tell you that too, you need to spend time with them. Because, again, it's their soul that you have to capture on that canvas.
I suppose that's true if you're looking deeper in. But, you will have occasionally someone who just asks you to do a portrait, and you just got to kind of blop it on the page. But the better the art, I would think, the art would get better as you become more familiar with your subject.
Yes, for sure. Awesome. So hence, I know my children very well.
So you have the little one has horns.
Yeah. No, they're great kids. They've actually... having children was the best thing that's ever happened to me. I can honestly say that, yes.
I have two of them, and do you mind if I ask how old they are?
Mine are 7 and 9.
7 and 9.
Yes, and of course marrying my husband.
As an afterthought.
No.
A little asterisk.
No.
But no, 7 and 9 is sweet. They're aware.
Yeah.
They have a little bit of understanding about the world around them, but they are still filled with wonder.
Curious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt.
For sure.
Newkirk, before we move on to talking about ASID, I should give you a chance to pitch some Mercy and Benedict stuff. What do you got going on?
Well, we already did what was I going to say?
I was going to ask about the boob luge.
So that's going to be October 2nd
okay.
For the breast cancer awareness. The whole month we're doing a campaign called Minnesotans Wear Pink. Mm-hmm. And although I'm not Minnesotan, I'm going to be Minnesotan in pink all month. I will
He's
have
from Scotty.
From where?
Wisconsin.
Oh, Oh,
I will have something pink every day of the month, every day during the month of October. October 2nd in the Library Lounge, starting at 6 p.m., we'll be doing a boublouge. It's going to be a giant portrait, ice sculpture of a woman's torso. And it goes in through the arm, through an ice luge, and comes out of one of the breasts. And all the product donated, 100% of our proceeds are going to go to the foundation. There's a foundation in the Twin Cities that I won't mention, Susan B. Coleman. She only donates 10%. And they trademarked the ribbon and everything. It's horse crap.
And they sue everybody who uses ... for the cure.
Yeah.
They
so
spend
anyways,
more on legal
so we're doing
fees.
real things. We're not, paying ourselves way too much money.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
It'll be great.
That's great.
And that is when again?
October 2nd.
October 2nd.
At Mercy
Okay.
Bar Dining Room, 901 Hennepin Avenue.
All right, so we still got a little bit of lead up to it, but
Yep.
it's only a couple of weeks away.
Yeah.
I'm excited. All right, let's talk about Design Impacts Lives.
Yes.
All right. Design Impacts Lives out there, folks, is AS, the American Society of Interior Designers' guiding principle and I think honest realization associated with what it means to create a healthful space. So from your perspective, Rosanne, how do you work within that context? How do you affect that outcome?
I think it's about a number of things. Teaching the consumer how to buy responsibly, I think, is a huge one because we're all impacted by, taking care of our environment.
Absolutely.
And a disposable society is not going to help that matter.
No. And it's, again, it also goes back to there's an energy. We talked about energy
Yes.
overall. I mean, I hate plastic. I cannot stand plastic in general. Shockingly, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but you will almost never see me with much of anything that's plastic. Not even like plastic pens. Because it's wasteful and it's inauthentic.
Yes, that's right. So that is a big part, teaching the consumer how to buy responsibly. Another area is just how important good design is. It doesn't have to be expensive. I think that sometimes people think that good design is always expensive, and I don't think that's the case.
I think people would correlate that just in life in general. Like,
Yes.
it costs money, it must be better.
Yes. No. Because I believe everyone should surround themselves with good design. It doesn't have to be a lot. I mean, think of the little monasteries, right? Little tiny places with they had just what they needed. Or in Japan, right? Not big spaces, but they have what they need,
It's a great point. And you're right. I mean, design itself leads to sustainability. I mean, part of the reason that people cycle through so much crap is because they aren't aware of how to use the things that they've been buying. They buy the wrong things, and then they just try to fill that void with more things as opposed to a well-selected item, whether it is a sofa, an entire living room, or a watch, or anything else. If you select the right thing, it'll bring you more happiness.
Yes.
And you will be less likely to then throw it away.
KonMari.
KonMari. Tell me what KonMari is.
You stumped Greg. This is great. Keep talking.
Yeah, tell me.
You know KonMari.
I don't.
Oh, no.
I don't? You stumped me.
Spark Joy. I should have brought my book.
Is that what it is? KonMari, Spark Joy? Oh, that's all right. See?
Marie
All right.
Kondo. I think she has a Netflix series on now.
Okay. I mean, I know everybody's all about sparking joy, but I didn't know it was KonMari.
I do love her philosophy because it is about just having only what you need in your home.
Simplification is key. It's one of the things I struggle with clothes. I'm a little bit of a clothes horse. I admit this is true. I have a full closet. My side of the closet is slightly heavier than my wife's side. I admit this is true. But it also leads to too many decisions that need to be made.
Sure.
And I'm always considering simplifying. And the answer, of course, is always the thing that always jumps up to you is black. You're always so tempted to just buy everything in black.
It's timeless.
I know, right?
And it goes
always
from morning
look good.
to night. Yes.
It's true. But it's
and
also
you're
the
a New
coward's
Yorker,
way
right?
out.
So I think the black.
I've got the beard. I mean, listeners, this is radio, but I do bear an uncomfortable resemblance to Satan. So black or red both work really well on me. But I think that is true. I think design leads to sustainability. And that's something we haven't explored on the show, so I think we just hit something out of the park on this.
Yeah, and I think that got kind of lost, in the last, I don't know. I was raised very conservative. You have you buy once and you cry once. You have your good quality pieces, and recycling was just part of what you did.
Yeah.
To take care of the earth, to be responsible. It wasn't a movement. It was a lifestyle.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more.
And so...
Well, let me ask you this then also. Well, actually, so sticking with the clothes thing. See, this is kind of fascinating to me because clothes drive me crazy. Because do you know that the stuff that we buy in America is almost inherently of inferior quality to the stuff that you can buy in Europe, even if it's the same brand?
Oh, yes, because the buyer is more selective.
And
Absolutely.
Yes, exactly. I once bought like a bunch of Lacoste shirts when we were in France, and it was amazing, polo shirts. And they lasted for literally like 3-4 years, which is forever for a polo shirt. They didn't last so long. Finally, one blew off the back of my boat, one got ripped, they finally died. I went to Macy's and I bought a bunch more of the Lacoste shirts, and this is back before they became really, really popular, and they lasted one season. And I took a look, and I discovered the ones I bought here, even though they were the same price, were made in Peru. The ones there were made in France. And it's planned obsolescence, I guess. In America, they know we consume endlessly, and they will feed that. We have to fix it.
Yeah, we do.
Awesome.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Well, that was my little Lacoste tirade. And to this day, I refuse to buy anything from Lacoste now.
Oh, unless if you go to France.
Unless I go to France.
And that's not so terrible, right?
All right, there it is, my friends. We have drunk our way through yet another episode. On behalf of Habitation Furnishing and Design and Rosanne Levi from Tailored Décor and Bits, from the American Society of Interior Designers, a lot of people we're thanking. Dan Newkirk from Mercy would like to express his appreciation for being here, right?
Thank you.
Wasn't that my happy voice?
Yep.
Yeah, all right. I'd like to wish everybody good luck this coming week. And for our closing quote, I have selected a Japanese proverb. When you are thirsty, it's too late to think about digging a well. Good night, everybody.
That's great.
La 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 la.